review time, something that I bought. This is a 1X player. Let's go with that side because it's got the little metal thing. 1X player. This is their new mini eGPU. Mini because look how small it is. Compared to my head, it's tiny. Just for comparison, here's a very small mini PC, like a really small mini PC. Right? It's the same, it's smaller than a very small mini PC. Like this is a very small mini PC. I actually did a review of this mini PC and I show this here. This is their brand new mini eGPU. It has inside of it a 7600 MXT from AMD GPU. It runs at high watts, like 100, 110, 115 watts. Very good. For people who don't know AMD, like if you're an NVIDIA fan and you don't know AMD, that puts this faster than a 4060 mobile. 4060 mobile at launch might have been faster than this, but with driver updates, other people agree, and I've tested this extensively. The 4060 mobile is now slower than this. This is now faster. So if you want to basically take whatever device you own and tack on a 7600 MXT GPU that's going to be good for professional work, like video export, that kind of stuff, engineering type stuff, and gaming, slightly faster than a 4060, this is going to do it, and this is going to do it in a very clean, tight, small little package. What am I talking about here? Take a mini PC like this, as long as it has USB 4, you're going to be able to hook it up and get increased performance. Take a handheld like this is my MSI Claw 8 AI. Plug it in, all of a sudden you go from the iGPU in here to 7600 MXT level performance. Amazing. Get yourself a laptop. Maybe you have a laptop, maybe even it's 5 years old, but it's got Thunderbolt 4 on it. Plug it in, all of a sudden you got a gaming laptop, right? It's got an Intel 11th gen processor, 12th gen processor. Right? No dedicated graphics, crap integrated graphics, can't play anything on it. Plug it into this, all of a sudden it's a gaming PC. Or you get yourself something like this here. This is my 1X Player X1 Pro, and this one does use USB 4, so you can use that, but it also has an Oculink port. See that there? That's an Oculink port. This is my GMK that I'm reviewing right now. This one also has Oculink. There it is. So you're able to use it with USB 4 type devices, laptops, handhelds, mini PCs, or Oculink type devices, laptops, mini PCs, handhelds, and increase the performance massively. Okay, so here is a look at the website for the eGPU Lite. Looks like it's already on sale. Cute little thing. It'll be more apparent how tiny and wee it is when we get through it. So yeah, tiny little guy, 469 grams, so weighs nothing. Cute little thing. Some other, marketing photos here, whatever. 120 watts, which is essentially full wattage for the 7600M XT, so that's great. Love to see that. Anyway, so we have the 7600 MXT here, an 8GB GPU. If you're not comfortable with AMD performance, this will put it slightly faster than an RTX 4060, faster than a 4060. So it'll sit between a 4060 and a 5060 mobile. You have 2 ports out here, HDMI and DisplayPort, so you can do dual, and they're going to support obviously fast monitors, high resolutions of fast monitors. You can use Oculink, which is what I'm going to use in this video. Oculink will allow you to hook this up to Oculink enabled handhelds, like it's coming here. This is the one here that I use, the 1X Player X1 Pro Oculink. You can also hook up to mini PCs. Lots of different devices have Oculink. Oculink will allow you to get better bandwidth than USB 4, especially if you're outputting back to the internal screen. It's very, very good. It's an excellent, excellent, excellent interface. And it does also support USB 4 version 2, which is basically, we'll call it Thunderbolt 5. It's not Thunderbolt certified, but Thunderbolt 5 or USB 4 version 2. That's an 80 gigabit port. So twice as fast as Thunderbolt 4. These should actually run quite similar if you have a Thunderbolt 4 version 2 or 80 gigabit port. So my device doesn't, but if you have a laptop that has a Thunderbolt 5 port or whatever 80 gigabit port, you can use this, and it should give you very, very similar performance to this, faster than USB 4. Now, it is backwards compatible, so if you just have a standard USB 4 port, like pretty much every Intel laptop for the past 5 years, and a lot of AMD as well, you can use that. And then, therefore, you can hook this up to most laptops over USB 4, or you can go faster, use USB 80 gigabit, or Oculink can get even faster performance. Okay, and here is the device here. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff installed on this PC here. I'm not sure why these icons are all dead, but whatever. This is my daily driver gaming PC. So there are 2 ways to hook this up. Let's get it all configured here. So the first way to hook this up to any eGPU, to any essentially like laptop or anything that has USB 4 or Thunderbolt support, is to hook it up over USB. So what you do here, I'm actually going to unplug this because it is actually going to power this device too, so I'm not going to need that anymore. Bring that over here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to plug this in like that there. Wrap this around, plug it into the front. See the light comes on. And it's threatening us, which is actually not true. It's fine. There it goes. Burp. And look at that. Now we're gaming externally. So let's come out here. So now we're hooked up to an external. You can run it internally, or you can run it externally. If you want to run it on an external dock like that, if you want to run on an external dock like that, you come up here, go display. You can show it only on the external, or you can extend it. We'll do some gaming on both. But yeah, see, now we have it doing both. So we have the HDMI running into here. It's going to do that. The other option here is to use Oculink. So USB 4 is nice because it is plug and play. It will work on pretty much most devices these days that aren't like cheap. So pretty much almost every Intel laptop or handheld or whatever is going to have USB 4, a Thunderbolt 4, which will work. Nowadays, AMD, it's getting a lot better, where a lot of AMD laptops also have USB 4. You can really enhance the performance. Like here's a mini PC that does not have Oculink, but it does have USB 4. And I've actually shown in this review, I used it with this, and it really obviously increased the performance a ton. The main differences here are one, you're going to get better performance. So Oculink supplies better performance than USB 4, just straight up. We'll show that in this video. Funnily enough, honestly, sometimes like I'm just really lazy. I don't feel like plugging in the Oculink, so I just use the USB 4 because like the game I'm playing, it's like whatever, the performance is fine. So with Oculink, you do have to restart the system. That's the primary negative. The way that it works, it's going to be running directly through the PCI, and it will crash on pretty much every system, unless you have like a Lenovo with a TGX port, which you'd have to like import from China. I do have one of those actually, but otherwise you have to power it off. So you make sure they're both off. This one, you just, when you plug it in, it automatically turns on. So that's that. When you turn on the device here, it will now run it over. You can see that there. It's working immediately. So I'll just summarize that again. With the eGPU, you can use, it has both. So you can use Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4. That's plug and play. So as long as your handheld, your laptop, or your mini PC have USB 4, right? It's essentially just plug and play. Take it, plug it into the USB 4 port, and you're essentially cooking. It'll just pop up, it'll do that thing in the bottom, and you're good to go. Now, you do lose some performance of what the GPU can do in its maximum setting. It's still going to be fast. You'll still get excellent performance, but the GPU won't run at its peak performance under that scenario. Like I said, still very good, but not 100%. Oculink, the amount of performance loss you get is pretty much zero. It's not actually zero, but it's like a couple percent. So the benefit of it are massive. Okay, so here we are in Cyberpunk internal screen. So we're going to test it at 1600p. We can do 1200p as well. This is a very high resolution handheld. More commonly these days would be like a 1200p handheld or 1080p, but 1600p is nice. So we'll do a little FSR. Let's put the settings here. I mean, we can probably do high, but just do medium to start. FSR, a little bit of scaling. Actually use XeSS. So we'll go XeSS unbalanced, a little bit of scaling, decent preset, whatever. Look at that. It's crazy. So 1600p, not 1200p, 1600p medium, just a touch of scaling. The nice thing is, I mean, we're able to offload any of the APU, the included graphics here. It doesn't have to worry about GPU at all. So all of that is going onto the GPU here. The CPU can do CPU stuff. And a game like this, Cyberpunk, that is also very CPU heavy, it means that the CPU can do CPU things and the GPU can do GPU things, which is why you get such good performance here. Right? Again, this is internal screen. So we're going back into the internal screen, not external. 1600p, not 1200p, 1600p medium with some scaling, but still. That blue line is actually for this here, the temperature. I just forgot to rename it. You can see how this thing's running here, 64, 70, 70. This is nothing, by the way, especially for 113 watts. I mean, it's a external. These were originally designed to go in laptops and that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, they always were 100, 110 watts. It's pretty standard for like a good performing GPU inside of a system. On an external thing with dedicated cooling, like a significant dedicated cooling not shared with the CPU, you're not going to have much of an issue to keep it cool. Okay, now here we are on my external screen. Now this is 4K. This GPU it's not a 4K GPU. It's like a 1080p heavy or 1440p kind of medium type GPU. You can do 4K in the vast majority of games ever made. Like pretty much if you look at like video games as a whole, you'll be able to play like 99.9% of them at 4K. With incredibly high frame rates. However, there are going to be games, modern 2025, modern 2026, high demand titles such as Cyberpunk and Battlefield, that kind of stuff, where 4K is going to be a bit much for it. There are more games that come out in 2025, 2026 that will play at 4K, but just not the most heavy benchmark level games, right? Like you're not going to be playing benchmark level games at 4K on this, but the vast majority of games are still going to play just fine at 4K. Let's be honest. I'm coming here though. We can go like this. We can turn it up. XeSS, 1440p here, right? And basically the same, right? Maybe a little lower, just depends on the settings, but I mean, you're going to be pretty much cooking over here. Very good performance. You're going to be able to take a handheld like this and use it on an external screen without too many problems, right? Okay, so let's try a little eGPU to the screen here. Come in here. Again, this is a 4K screen, so we're not going to do that. We'll go with a lower resolution. Okay, so here we are. We'll start the test here. We'll do 1440p Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is over Oculink, and we're doing external. So we'll get the same settings for each one. So you can see there 1440p, VRR, 50% scaling. You can change it if you want, but we'll just do 50 for now. We can do a mix here. We'll go like that. We'll do high, medium, low mix, I guess I'll say. Medium for the background guys, high for the main people, and then medium here, and then other stuff low, just because there's some of them don't have both. You can see that. Let's see what we can get here. At 1440p, external. Again, you can inject FSR into this and XeSS, which I'd highly recommend doing. This just uses TAAU, but it's fine for testing purposes. When you're actually playing this game, you should inject FSR and XeSS. But you can see that there's 6970 style gameplay. Let's do a run through here. All right, so it's around 60. You'll get sometimes higher, sometimes lower, but I call it like 60 FPS gameplay. All the system memory is going into the to the operating system in the game itself, because the GPU has its own VRAM. That's always nice to see. And an easy 60 type of performance here. Very good. So that's basically what you're going to get. You're going to get 60 or so on the external screen, 60 or so on the internal screen. So that's what the GPU can do. The GPU is just doing what it can do, and you're getting that kind of performance. It's very good. So now what we'll do is we'll kick out here and we'll go with the USB 4 solution and load right back in. Okay, so now we're running the external display over USB 4. Check the settings here, just to make sure they stuck. Yep. Okay, so everything's the same now. Very good. Okay. There we go. So you can see here, it's similar. It's a little lower, but honestly, it's very close, right? Do a quick run through. I do expect probably a little bit worse lows, just because of like bandwidth stuff, but I don't think it's going to be terrible. Yeah, see a little bit more drops here and there, but it's really not bad, even over USB 4, right? If you scale these things up to much more powerful GPUs, the USB 4 versus Oculink, yeah, you can see a little bit more degradation. But we know this kind of stuff here, it's going to run well. You are getting a little bit more worse lows though. You can see the lows are dropping a little bit more. So the raw FPS is about the same, but the lows are a little bit worse, especially when loading in assets. It's just bandwidth, right? So, when you're just kind of hanging out, it's not going to be a big difference. But when you're starting to load in assets, you might see a little bit of a decrease. It's slightly slower, not staggering, a few percent here and there on the average. The lows are a little bit lower for sure, definitely a little bit lower. you know, in here. But I mean, still playable, right? 60 versus 30. That's a pretty good split, honestly. It's not bad. You're not going to have any problems playing this game with that kind of performance. But you do lose a little bit. Now let's kill off this and we'll go with the internal display. Just going to unplug it. It's okay because this resolution here can support that, so it should just kick over. Now I do expect there to be performance loss here now. And why is that? Okay, so now, what I mentioned before, now we're running USB 4 to the internal. So with Oculink, you know, internal screen, not really any performance loss. Oculink to the external screen, not really any issues there. USB 4 to an external screen, not really much issues there. USB 4 back into the internal display, yes, there's a little bit of a drop there, right? It's still massively more performant than the iGPU, like we can't even compare them, but the performance is lower, right? So we went from, what was it, 58, 59? So we've lost 10 FPS. So honestly, it's 15, 16, 17% performance. I mean, it is performance loss, but it's still good, right? So if you, I'm doing this because, you know, maybe you don't have a 1X player with an Oculink. 1X player, Oxo, some of these brands, they have Oculink-based solutions. So if you have that, you will want to use that. But many of them don't. Okay, internal screen time. Now, you know, we're on an iGPU now. We're at 1600p, so it's going to be kind of rough here. I just want to make sure the settings are the same. Okay, they all look the same. Very good. It's not going to be playable at this setting here, right? So we went from, you know, 51, 52, 48 with good lows on USB 4, you know, 3 times faster frame rate on the Oculink, and the lows, I mean, they're not even times, they're like 10 times faster, 15 times faster. This is completely unplayable here, right? Obviously. On the setting, 1600p with all of this stuff going on. I mean, you can play. You probably shouldn't, but you can. Let's go like this here. I don't know how well this is going to work here, but let's try to export external just for the data purposes. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, did work, very good. I kind of thought that was going to crash. Is it going to immediately switch? I don't know. Whoa, easy there, Cloud. It might run a little better on the external display, just the way that iGPUs work. It's just, you don't have to then also power the screen. It's just the way that works. Ooh, it looks weird. Yeah, fraction faster, and it's just like... bleh. Okay, so here, I mean, you can use scaling, 1080p, 1200p, and use scaling. But another thing you can do is you can just do like native integer scaling kind of stuff. So we'll come in here, go like that. Something like this here, like a mixed setting. Again, you'd want to use FSR or something like that. You really don't want to be using TAAU, but right, and it runs just fine. Right, it's a little soft because if it's using TAAU, but I just decreased the resolution even more, 720p, 800p for the screen, but this game doesn't have 16 by 10. And yeah, I mean, it's going to give you decent enough performance, right? Pretty good. Nothing to complain about here. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to get, you know, 30, probably like 30 to 45 FPS kind of gameplay on the external screen. You know, like you can see the frame rate drop is much less now. It's really not that bad. But I mean, we're at a massively lower resolution and lower settings, right? We just kept going down and down and down. The eGPU, like you could also play at this resolution, but why would you? It's designed to push like higher performance. So that's that there. Let's kick back now and we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about this here and bring in the conclusions for the little eGPU, the little mini eGPU from 1X Player. We'll do negatives. I guess you have to import it. So, you know, you have to get it off, for now, you have to get it off, you know, their website or AliExpress or something like that. It may pop up, you know, just on Amazon or something like that. If I can find links for those eventually, I'll put them down in the video description. But, you know, I'll put some links for Amazon, their official store. I'll put some links for AliExpress, the official store, and of course their official store down below. Yeah, you can use those. And yeah, I guess that's the negative. I mean, it does run a little bit louder than like a larger one. I don't have one around here, but if you have a larger eGPU, physically larger, it's going to run quieter because it doesn't have to work as hard. There's more mass, but honestly, it runs pretty quiet considering how tiny it is. Like, it's a tiny little thing. See that? So if you want to have a 7600 MXT level performance, 8GB, which will be, if you don't know AMD, it's a little faster than a 4060 mobile, probably as fast as a 4060 desktop. That's about right, because there's a jump from the 4060 mobile up to a 4060 desktop, and this sits kind of in that spot right there with the 4060 desktop, somewhere around there. A little faster than a 4060 mobile in my testing, and I've probably published that video, but I've tested that, and it's true. It is faster. Describe it then. I mean, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. What else do you want me to say?